Good evening and welcome back to Red Wave USA. My name is Ross Rods. Wonderful to be back. I know it's been a while. I know we missed a few episodes, but you know what? We are back. And do we ever have some news for you? Today is going to be a big episode about the whole thing about the Epstein files. I know Democrats have been making a big uproar about these Epstein files are absolutely incriminating of Trump and how we are seeing that Trump should be escorted out of the office as president. Anyways, we will get more into the Epstein files in this episode. That's kind of going to be the main topic of today. That's the main topic on all American minds at this moment in time. Let's get through this and push past it, right? But anyways, that will be today's episode. We're going to get a little deeper into the Epstein files. We're going to really talk about it and go through some of these emails and explain them in further detail. Thank you again for joining Red Wave USA. I am honored to be able to put these out for your viewing and you guys actually reciprocating them. Makes me feel great and I love doing it. So thank you again for tuning into Red Wave USA. Monday, November 17th. We are almost to Thanksgiving already. Can you believe it? About a week and a half out from Thanksgiving. This month is flying by just like October did. But anyways, let's get into the main thing on every American's mind at this moment in time. And that seems to be the Epstein files. It's flooded all media outlets. It's flooded every American mind. It's all over every social media platform. You cannot get away from it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But emails dropped over the weekend from Jeffrey Epstein to multiple associates, whether that be Maxwell or even between his brother, Mark Epstein. But a lot of these emails were nothing really to do with Trump. But I tell you what, the ones that they did pick out of these 33,000 emails, the very few that implicated Trump or showed involvement, or what the Democrats are saying, didn't really lead to much. This all started over the weekend, and it was a push by the Democrats as they started to slowly release these files, which, don't get me wrong, I'm in full support of this. Yes, let's release these files and let's really dive into them so we can get off of this topic. I'm really done talking about it. Let's put the people away that are implicated in these files, but let's get off of it because we all know what this goose chase is really for. We all know that we want to release the files, or at least the Democrats would like to release the files, just to strictly find something about Trump within those. You know, and they will say, no matter how many times that they do say, but they'll say, no, we just want to hold people responsible. Whoever's in there, we want to hold them responsible and take them down. No, that's not the case. And this has been the case since day one. It's been a constant attack on Trump because, again, all of these Democrats are suffering from this, us Republicans say it as a joke, the Trump derangement syndrome. But it's starting to become rather serious. These Democrats are basing their entire lives on Trump. They have a weird obsession with Trump, and it is getting very weird. But this obsession is constantly trying to take him down or constantly trying to push out negative media towards him. And the latest aspect of this is the Epstein files. They're trying to find anywhere his name is mentioned within these files and take him down, in a sense. But what they've released so far in this first drop of files has implicated absolutely nothing. I know they like to insinuate whatever they can, but again, we're not seeing much of anything. And we're going to really dive deeper into this. At least we're going to look at the two emails that were the most renowned throughout all of social media, the ones that were posted on all of my videos over the weekend. You know, your boy was implicated doing this. There was no implication of anything, but this is just another show by the Democrats. It's the latest show. Let's call it the November show. Obviously, the October show for the Democrats was the government shutdown. And it's always been something, whether it be the government shutdown, now it's Epstein. It's always been one thing or another. But obviously, the government shutdown has ended and we are in an open government once again. The Democrats lost their leverage. So they are desperately searching to find more leverage, and that new leverage is the Epstein files. And again, they are trying to find absolutely anything on Trump. And the truth of the matter is this should have been released a very, very long time ago. This should have been released under the Biden administration. It really should have. He had 4 years to do it. And if anything, if he was trying to implicate Trump in something, if the Democrats were, if there was something there, if the Biden's DOJ did find something in these files, you'd think they would have released it to totally take out Trump from a 2024 presidential campaign. But obviously that wasn't the case. So now they're going to hold this as long as they can. I would honestly say that this vote would get delayed a few more days just so the Democrats can push this narrative a little more and keep it mysterious. Oh, Trump could be in there. He really could. And that's the leverage that they hold right now. But anyways, apparently the vote is going to be tomorrow. It was supposed to be today. At least that's what I heard all weekend. But apparently that's not the case. It's being moved to tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow we'll finally get some answers and we can push this thing under the rug. As Trump recently stated, he said, yes, I am in full support of releasing these files and getting to the bottom of this. I'm ready to move past all of this. And he did say it's a Democratic hoax, which more and more, that's what I'm starting to think. Here's the question that I have before we get into all this. If all of these files release tomorrow and we go through all of them, and there is nothing more implicating Trump. There's nothing that truly holds Trump accountable in these files that is a direct connection between Trump and, say, the island, say, Trump and the flight logs, or Trump and the underage girls. Say there is nothing there. Will this finally be the end? Will we stop talking? Will we stop posting the picture of Trump and Epstein? You know, a lot of people hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. He was a very powerful man for a long time. Will Democrats finally move past this? And as a mature individual, I would like to say, yeah, I would hope they would. But the truth of the matter is, no, they won't. They ran with this story all weekend, and they were overjoyed that Trump's name was mentioned in these emails, even though these emails did not implicate anything. So let's dive into these exact emails that Democrats were rejoicing over this weekend. I'm going to go over two of the main emails that the Democrats or the liberals were using this weekend to implicate Trump in connection to Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to go over the two main ones that they really pushed, that this meant something, there's something here. And you can be the judge if you think something's there or not. So the first one was very popular. They already made plenty of memes about it. I saw it all over my pages. It had to do with, it involved Bill Clinton, it involved Trump, and it involved Vladimir Putin, all kind of mentioned in the same jokey email. And this was from Mark Epstein to Jeffrey Epstein, between brothers. Okay? So this first email, and I'll pull it up on the screen, says, ask Putin if he has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Okay, as a younger individual, blowing can sometimes refer to oral sex, right? So that's what Democrats took and ran with, right? But they also made the connection that in the past, Bill Clinton was referred to as Bubba. He had a nickname, and apparently it was Bubba, right? So if you connect the dots, they were immediately saying that Trump has photos, or in the past, was involved in some oral sex situation with Bill Clinton, saying that Trump performed oral sex on Bill Clinton, and that's the story that Democrats ran with over this weekend. I was absolutely flooded with it in all my comment sections. It was the biggest story of the weekend, that Trump may be gay, or at least he performed oral sex on Bill Clinton, and it was definite. Because of that email right there, that proves it. Let me run with you. I'll buy into it just for a second here. Say Trump did. Say Trump did perform oral sex on Bill Clinton. Say that's the world we live in. As much as I don't agree with it, so what? Isn't that what your whole party stands on? Is acceptance? The LGBTQ acceptance, right? That's your guys' party. You're the party of acceptance. But no, this story was taken as a complete joke, right? They took it as a negative thing. They took it that Trump did this and it was a negative light on Trump. And it should be paraded around that Trump did this, he did this, making fun of him. You want to talk about hypocrisy? And I said it in my last episode. This is the main thing that liberals do. You guys are hypocrites. And once again, you prove it to me again. Where you're going around pushing this story that Trump performed oral sex on Bill Clinton, and you're making fun of it. Really. Put any other person in those shoes. Any other person besides Trump. And I guarantee you, say it was a Democrat on Democrat oral sex thing that came out. You know, gay oral sex. Say that's what came out. It would be met with wide acceptance. But here we are, the Democrats absolutely making fun of Trump. So where is your acceptance now? Where is the party of acceptance now? Assuming that you guys ran with this one email saying it was true. No, it was met with complete jokes. So again, that makes me question, do you really care for LGBTQ rights like you say you do? Or you just care about it when it favors you? So say, hypothetical, say Trump did come out as gay. He was the first gay president in United States history. Much to, the negatives from the Republican side. That would be met with the same way that you guys reacted over the weekend, right? Again, the hypocrisy is loud within your own party. But that's what was the big story over the weekend. And do you think that I would come to you on this show without some explanation? So actually a day later, or 2 days later, it came out that Mark Epstein, who was behind these emails with Jeffrey Epstein, said that this was an inside joke, or this was satire content between him and his brother. It was inside jokes, and it's not meant to implicate anybody. There goes your email. There goes your email that you were rejoiced about. It was the best 2 days for Democrats. They were so excited that they got Trump on something. And that something was performing oral sex on Bill Clinton. And they were so excited that they nailed Trump in. On what exactly? But again, this just was another trying to get their gotcha moment. Basically, they were trying to implicate Trump in any way possible. And they took this one email. And I guarantee you it was the best weekend for Democrats. They had a lot of fun Friday and Saturday after this email came out. They rejoiced that finally Trump had been caught doing something. And so what? You're saying sexual items between two men is wrong now? I thought that's what you stood for. I thought you stood for gay rights. Thought that was your entire party. Thought that you were fighting for gay rights, right? Republicans were taking that away from you. But no, now it's a joke. It's a joke to you guys. But anyways, it was shot down. It was a joke between Jeffrey Epstein, who actually really hated Trump, but is what's coming out in these emails. He really tried to find anything on Trump he could to push a narrative in a negative light. But so obviously Mark Epstein completely just wiped this email, at least, out of contention. And as much as that may hurt Democrats' reputation, right? But they sure had their fun for 2 days. The other thing that they pushed, and you want to talk about radical, you want to talk about your mind really going out of touch with reality. They pushed the fact that, okay, Mark Epstein came out and he said that this whole Trump blowing Bubba thing, that was not to implicate anybody, it was just a joke. Okay, well, the Democrats saw that, and you know what else they did? They tried to find another angle, because it's always about finding an angle for Democrats. But they tried to find another angle to implicate Trump. And this angle, believe this, again, completely out of touch with reality here. They were saying that Bubba was in reference to Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's assistant. She had a horse, and the name was Bubba. So they were now implicating that Trump performed oral sex on a horse. You want to talk about your mind being so far in the gutter. And you know, I really expected a lot more from Democrats. I thought we matured to a point. I really did. But obviously, I guess I can't hold them to that expectation anymore because they're willing to take absolutely anything. And again, this is just more Trump derangement syndrome, if you will. This is just more them trying to find a way to tear down Trump in any possible way. Even after it came out that the emails were a joke and nothing more, they tried to find another angle, spin the narrative. Just keep spinning the narrative. That's all it is. And you want to talk about bestiality? You want to talk about Trump performing oral sex on a horse now? I mean, how far does your mind have to be in the gutter for you to even think about that? After this email was proved to be a joke. I've lost all hope. I really don't have much hope in Democrats anymore when it comes to Trump. But sadly, I think this is going to be with any Republican candidate nowadays. This new generation of liberals has gone so far into this hateful rhetoric of trying to tear down or destroy reputations. Politics has completely turned into gotcha moments and completely trying to insinuate political people, rather, into absolutely crazy conspiracy theories. That's what politics has come to, apparently. But anyways, we'll move to the other biggest email over the weekend. And I know there was a couple others, but I'm going to get into these main two that really blew up over the weekend. We just saw the first one with Trump and Bill Clinton, apparently, and that's obviously been shot down. Nothing but a joke. Let's get into this next one, right? This next one was one of the Jeffrey Epstein emails released, right? Quote, "I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked yet is Trump." This was blurred out. Victim spent hours at my house with him, with Trump. He has never once been mentioned. Trump has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. So first thing, let's just take, I'm 75% there. If you take that into context, this is obviously showing that Epstein was trying to build a case against Trump, rather a smear campaign through all of this. But anyways, let's completely throw the blackmail channel out of the way, as that was thrown out of the way this weekend. But anyways, let's get into this. So they're saying that Trump had spent hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with this victim. Okay, so here we go. We have concrete evidence through an email that Trump spent hours with one of the Epstein victims, right? This is clear, you got him. Trump is implicated. Democrats rejoiced over the weekend, just like they did with the whole Bill Clinton email. They rejoiced that they finally got Trump. They finally got him on something. A day later, this email was absolutely torn down. Again, proven wrong. And I'll tell you exactly how that was proven wrong. Further research into this email and that redacted name showed that it was Virginia Giuffre. This same Virginia Giuffre, who was a Epstein victim, the same one that in her deposition in 2016 stated that Trump had done no wrongdoing with her. Trump was actually very respectful. He had wronged her in no way. There was no sexual implications, no abuse implications, nothing at all. Actually stating Trump was very respectful to her. So here it is again, further proving that this Democrat Trump derangement syndrome continues to push through their party. They specifically blurred out that name in the email because they knew this email was nothing without the mysterious element of who that victim was. With that victim being Virginia Giuffre, that completely clears Trump's name. There's no wrongdoing. He was not involved in any of the disgusting sexual things that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in. No, Trump was actually very respectful to her. But again, this was another attempt by the Democrats to smear Trump. And again, it didn't work. Constantly, these emails that are coming out, they think they got him, and they're trying so desperately to get him. You don't. You have nothing. These emails implicate nothing. And before you say I'm sitting here defending a pedophile, because I get it all the time. Oh, you want to sit here and defend Trump, the pedophile, you're just defending a pedophile. Show me concrete evidence. Show me concrete evidence. And yeah, I will be the first one and I will come to you and say, I was wrong. Ross, was wrong. I was fooled. But no, there's been nothing but these conspiracy theories in these emails that they try and push, but nothing sticks. Again, we're trying to throw, or at least the Democrats are trying to throw whatever they can at the wall to see what sticks, and nothing has. And again, this is just another desperate attempt at a smear campaign. And how you can spend so much time and so much energy on trying to smear one man, I don't know. What happens if you spend this time and energy on policy, on passing bills, strengthening our economy? What happens if you put this time and energy into something useful rather than trying to stir up conspiracy theories? I wonder if our country would be moving in a better direction than it is now if the left participated in bipartisanship and actually worked with us instead of spending all their time trying to smear Trump. I wonder how great our country really could be. But anyways, that's been the agenda from Democrats. Gosh, as long as Trump has been in contention, since 2016. So now, in the past 2 months, they've tried the government shutdown. They tried to blame that on Trump. That went nowhere. It was the most obvious political ploy there was. As soon as their elections of this year were over, the government magically reopened. Obviously, Democrats tried to use the government shutdown as a leverage point. It didn't work. So what happens now? They specifically blur out email victims' names in these emails to try and smear Trump further, to try and gain their leverage point back. Again, it didn't work. You know? When will it end? I don't think it ever will. I think for the next 3 years, we're going to have to deal with this constant going after Trump, no matter what it is. But anyways, that's kind of it for today's show. I wanted to dive into the most popular of these Epstein emails that they believed they implicated Trump in. Obviously, there was nothing there. But I wanted to dive into that a little more and bring another show to you guys. And I know I can get rather heated about these things, but it's just, aren't you tired? And I know some of my viewers are mostly Republican, but talking to the liberals here and my Republican viewers, ask your liberal friends, liberal coworkers, acquaintances, aren't you tired? Are you not exhausted of constantly trying to find a narrative to take down Trump and constantly failing? Are you not sick and tired of constantly failing to find that one piece of incriminating evidence? Because it has yet to be found. But anyways, that will be the end of our show today. I tried a little something new. I know my audio quality isn't the best on these, so I tried it with the AirPod. I tried getting a little better audio. Hopefully the mic on my AirPod does a little better than the phone did. But anyways, that will do it for Red Wave USA today. Thank you so much for viewing once again. And you know how I always end these episodes. Conservatives, continue to stay proud to hold those conservative ideals that you do, because now more than ever it is important to be able to rise up through all of the liberal conspiracy theories and bullcrap and hateful rhetoric that they spew. Now more than ever it is important to rise up through that all, because constantly they are trying to tear us down. They're trying to tear conservatives. Anything that they can do to incriminate conservatives, to incriminate Trump, Republican legislators, even us, the conservative supporters, anything that they can do to tear us down, they will use it. And now more than ever, you need to stay strong to your ideals. That was the whole reason I started this show, was to promote conservative values, talk about them, right? Spread the word more. That's the whole point. And I feel like we're doing pretty well. We get a consistent viewership, and it's only going to grow. You got to be optimistic about these things, right? But do not let the liberals tear you down or kick you down. We always get back up. That's our motto. We're strong, right? No matter if they're attacking your intelligence. I get this all the time. And it's all of us. We all get it. I know we do. No matter if it's attacking your character, your intelligence, your way of life, your values, do not let that stray you from your opinion. You are entitled to your opinion. That's what's so great about the great United States. That's what's so great about our country, is we can have those ideals. It's the First Amendment. Anyways, thank you again for watching this episode of Red Wave USA. I can't thank you enough. I love all the support that we're getting. And I hope you have a wonderful week. My name is Ross Rotz. Good night.